Here's one of our favorite clips from Neighborly Discourse with Billy and Steve.
But transitioning to the Heat,
go.
I do want to talk about Heat just for a second because
for it,
I
man.
got to get my 5 minutes out there. I told Janice this morning I'm not watching any more of this particular series unless the Heat make it to the finals. And it's been
that
in terms of loyalty, like
no, the statement doesn't make any sense. They're not. If they play this team, they're not going to make it to the finals. So you were just not going to watch this series anymore.
Well,
Because if you don't watch it, you're not going to watch them if they make it to it.
I'm saying I'm not watching that. I'm not watching any more basketball. How's that? I'm not
Okay,
going to watch any more basketball.
I gotcha.
That's a better statement. I'm not going to watch any more basketball unless the Heat make it to the finals. And I say that because it's been so frustrating watching this series. This particular series has been so frustrating. And you know what? I'm not even going to talk about basketball from that perspective because I can really get into basketball right now and talks about X and O's, but I'm not going to do that right now. This is what I am going to talk about. The national media has absolutely no respect for the Miami Heat. The fact that they're the number one seed, the fact that they were clearly the best team in the East going into the playoffs. I noticed it when they were playing against Philadelphia in the last round, and absolutely noticed it now going into watching this round. Everything is it's never anything good that the Heat does. It's always how great Boston is or how bad Boston was. But it's never about, man, the Heat is, look at the Heat, look what the Heat brings to the table, know? And it's like, and it's so bad that I was listening to some commentary the other day. Do you remember Windhorse?
Yeah.
Okay, and there was like a panel of reporters, and one of the reporters said something, and I can't remember what he said, but it could be taken wrong by a Heat fan. And Windhorse said, "Hey, by the way, if you're in Miami, people in Miami hate when you say things like that." So he was acknowledging, that the people in Miami
he got it all the time because he was like this LeBron hater after getting a career based on LeBron James.
But I think that over and beyond that, he was recognizing the fact that even now, in this particular series, in this moment, in this time and space, that Miami people are getting frustrated with the national media because everything is about Boston, nothing's about the Heat, and it's frustrating. And it's like, and even when these guys were saying, like Windhorst was saying what he said, it's almost like he's saying tongue in cheek to the sense of, these guys in Miami are, full of it. But it's like, are we really? Like, listen to yourself. Listen to everything you say, or say what you got to say, then rewind and listen to yourself and ask yourself, why would anybody in Miami think that you weren't partial? And this is the media. And it's very frustrating being a fan, wanting to listen to sports, at this time of the year, and it's like,
well, that's why
I'm
you have to
turn it all
listen to
off.
the local stuff. Because I just verified here what I already knew. Miami's a fair weather sports town for basketball. Boston's die hard. The national media is not going to cater to fans that are like, well, unless they win, I'm not watching anymore. They're going to cater to Boston, who live and die with every shot that's taken. So they're not really interested in how you take it. They're interested in the national media. Nationally, basketball is more accepted, more fun in Boston than it is in Miami, as far as the fans are concerned.
This could be true, but this goes back to a bigger point. I'm glad you took the cheese and you didn't even realize it. I
don't eat cheese.
I want honesty in media. I just want balanced coverage.
I understand that, and I would say with news, yes, but this is sports. You need to pull in ratings, and you're going to cater, I guess, to the audience that's going to give you more love, that's going to give you more attention. Boston will talk basketball during football season. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Down here, we would talk basketball during football season because the Dolphins suck. New England's been New England for 20 years. They still talk basketball during football season. Mm-hmm. So down here, when the season's over, it's over. Basketball's done. They'll bring it up because the Dolphins suck, but it's not like anywhere else in the country. Like Florida sports in general, which again, I'm told that by the media, but I also live here and at times would listen to local radio. And then we, kind of move on to the next thing. When we had Le Batard, who became national, they didn't talk about any local sports. It was the Cowboys, the Eagles, the 49ers, and Dallas was all you heard about football. I don't want to hear about that stuff.
But hold on.
But that's what moves the needle
but
nationally.
On that perspective, I get it, right? Because he's on a national program,
Yeah.
and he's got national listeners. In this scenario, and then you have different seasons in sports.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, there's only 4 teams playing, and at any given time, you're only discussing one game.
Yeah.
And which means you're only talking about 2 teams.
Yeah.
So a balanced coverage on both teams.
Well, they're not balanced. People, whether you, again, what I think anyway, however, you're not watching unless they win. So you're done with it. No matter what happens in Boston, they are never turning off the TV. So they're going to praise them, keep them watching, because whether you're excited or not, you're willing to turn the TV off. So they're not going to cater their media coverage towards you.
Okay. Now,
Well, that's a weird sound.
from the perspective of covering, trying to get ratings, right?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if Boston, like you said, if they're rabid and they're gonna listen no matter what, right? Then wouldn't it behoove them to say, okay, let me
get
try
both
to pull,
sides?
let me try
Yeah.
to pull in the other side,
Yeah, it
right?
would.
Because it's not even fun listening to them talk because they're not. There's nothing analytical about what they're saying at all. It's just so biased. Now,
Yeah.
I say that to say that Boston is a better team.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Miami can beat Boston at any given time
Yeah.
because of our coaching, because of Jimmy Butler, and a couple other things. We could beat them at any time. But in a 7-game series, it's almost impossible to beat Boston because they are built defensively. They're built like Miami, if not better, and offensively they are much better. Regardless, hands down, they are much better offensive. Even in their bad nights, like last night, which was a terrible night for Boston offensively, we still managed to be worse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hands down, they're a better team.
Well, that might answer your question as to why is it Boston being bad. They were bad and Miami was worse. So why would you want to talk about the worst team? Talk about the bad team.
Yeah. Okay.
There was
So
either side was.
So let me give you a good example.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 nights ago, or 2 games ago, Miami came out, and they came out offensively like a juggernaut. I mean, they came out, bam. I mean, clearly, I think they went up like 25, 26 points, maybe even 28 points very quickly. And then their defense was the defense that you expect from Miami. And, of course, because Boston has a great offense, they were willing it down, but regardless, Miami won the game at the end of the day, right? You would think the narrative would be like, wow, look how Miami came out there aggressive with great defense, they won the day. No, it was Boston let one slip away, right? So last night, Boston comes out and boom, same thing. Offense was off the charts.
What are you watching?
ESPN and
Which is
TNT.
based in Connecticut, New England. So, I
Right.
mean, you can't be shocked.
These are national reporters, though, man.
They're sports reporters.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but they're national. Okay, what's the difference?
No matter how much they don't have a bias, they do.
I don't know. I just.
My opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I all I can tell you is that it's not fun watching it, even when Miami wins. Like, for example, the first game, Boston comes out the first game, gangbusters. Second half, Miami comes out and locks them down. I'm talking about they look so befuddled. They look like a JV team, playing against the pros.
Yeah.
And Miami kicked their butt and won the game, and the whole narrative was how Boston fell apart.
Yeah.
It wasn't about how Miami came and clamped down. No, it was how Boston fell apart.
Look at the Patriots and the Falcons Super Bowl a few years back. It had nothing. The Falcons, people say, they fell apart in the second half. No, they only scored 3 points in the second half because New England figured out what they were doing and shut them down. That's what happened. So it's kind of the same thing. You're saying that Miami figured them out and shut them down. The media only looks at the shiny object. Oh, man, they were doing so good and they fell apart. They don't give credit to defense because defense is boring. They give credit to offense because offense is exciting. So they're gonna bypass it completely.
Well, I as a So what's interesting is that my position that I'm telling you right now, it's both as a fan, but also as just a consumer.
Yeah.
I want balance. I want to hear both sides. I don't want to just